Hey everyone, this is Tom from MonTac here, and we are back at it again with another match of the week. This time we have got yet another banger. We have got the Rank 2 in Pro B, Lucky, taking on the Rank 4 in Pro B, Bob. Both of these guys have been talking a lot of trash this week leading up to this matchup, and it is going to be very interesting to see how these two go. Both of them, of course, have intercepted in kind of similar areas where they were both around the Rookie Championship title at some stage. But I don't know, I think this is their very first competitive match, and it is going to be a great one. We have got potentially either a Tim or Impact deck from Bob, and it is expected to either burn Elders or Life Gamblers from Lucky. So let's see what the heck happens. Obviously, we just had a huge couple of matches in the Pro Tournament. We just had a draw for the very first time, and then we had a couple other matches that we switched around, and now we have our two finalists, which is going to be Silver versus Misfire, and we are starting off this match with a Star Hand. Star Hand is a great card, allows you to search your deck, and allows you to add up to 5 cards to your hand from your deck. It is selective, but the downside, of course, is that you give your enemy 1 health for each card selected. So Bob has to be very careful that they pick the right cards so that they don't give away too much health. Let's see what the heck Bob is running. This could be Impact, it also could be Tim. Tim is a card that has recently got support with a Dragodian companion Tim. We've got Max 10, looking even more spicy. Widespread Termination. This is definitely not the Impact deck, so let's see what else. Another Star Hand. Very unusual play here. You would not necessarily use Star Hand if your enemy is, if you're running Tim, because Tim uses a card called Coconut Hut, which requires your enemy to sacrifice health to get rid of it. So giving them health is not a good idea, which means I would expect this to potentially be some sort of Impact Termination deck. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. Bob is also looking to make a major statement after Crimson has just lost the Pro title. Hopefully, if they can get a huge win here, they can actually advance themselves into Pro A. And Lucky, after a long hiatus, has returned looking to get themselves back into the Pro A title picture. And with now a vacant title now yet to be won next weekend in the Pro Tournament, this means we have a complete turmoil in the higher-ups of the pros. So we're starting with the Descent here. So this is a lot of consistency, which means I would likely think we are going into Tim. The issue is it is a lot of health to give Lucky right off the bat. Extreme Max 10 will prevent Lucky from getting more health, but it's still a lot of health to give. Is it a Tim deck? Or are we looking at something else? Another Descent of the Dragon, more cards into hand. I would think this is some sort of OTK setup, but I'm not really on board with that, considering Termination is on the field. Termination, of course, is a card you can sacrifice 6 health points to board wipe your enemy during preparation stage. It's really good for decks that can get a lot of health. It just works at getting rid of all those pesky cards that your enemy has, and for a lot of them it can't be selected by monster specialties. Not many of those, to be honest, but for those that can't be, it's a great out. Going into Barracuda, that's going to give them a lot of health points. Now that's great to have all those health points, but again, Lucky's got 10. Lucky's got tons to use if they want to sack for that Coconut Hut. I would definitely expect Bob to be running a calculated gambit here to get that Coconut Hut back from the Perish pile, but we'll have to see. Okay, looks like 8 cards are going back, which is going to take Bob to 13 health. That is really nice from that Barracuda. Basically, it's a class 2. When in play, shuffle as many cards you would like back from your hand back into the deck. For each card you shuffle back, you gain a health point. This sets up Tim the Toad. Tim the Toad has a card, basically, it's a class 1, 50 power, corrosive, which means when it wins a conflict, both players take a damage, and should it leave play for any reason, you may sack 2 to keep it in play. It's a really strong boss card if you can build it up with Coconut Hut. But again, like I said previously, I'm not sure that's a great idea considering Lucky has the health points to get rid of Coconut Hut. I'm not sure. So Coconut Hut is going to put the Dweller into the asset pile, and Lucky has made no moves to get rid of the Hut. Definitely a misplay right off the bat because you know Hut can be so incredibly scary. If Bob is not running Gambit, then there is really no reason to not deal with Hut. Oh my gosh, he's running Gambit. That is a very good play, but right off the bat, definitely I'm unsure of that. You want to save that so you could revive the Coconut Hut, but it looks like he's trying to get something else. He can look at the top 5 cards of his deck, basically arrange them anywhere he wants, and then mill the top 2. After doing that, you can add any tactical from the deck or Perish pile to his hand. So it's really good because you can target what you want to mill and revive something that's really strong in your Perish pile. In this case, a Coconut Hut would be fantastic, but my thought is Coconut Hut's not even in the Perish pile yet, so it's really just more of a searcher at this stage. I wonder what card they're adding. Another Coconut Hut, that's fine. So that gives him a lot of options. I think, is Hut only 1 copy at a time, or you can have double copies? It looks like you can have double copies, that's pretty crazy. Double copies of Hut in play is actually pretty good, but I mean, Lucky could just sack 8 to get rid of both. Granted, it's a bit more risky, but I guess especially against a corrosive deck. We're going to roll a 4 for Lucky. Let's see what Lucky has brought to the table. Looking into second deck immediately, this is looking like Elders. Let's see. Do we have a dragon type in Bob's Perished? Bob's Perished? We do. Okay, so I think Bob will be okay if Lucky chooses to get aggressive here. Klytus is going to hit play. It's a really good card. Basically, what you do is you got to send a blue, I think it's a red diamond tactical from your deck to the Perish pile to play out Klytus. Upon playing Klytus, you can add any card from the deck to your hand. So basically, this allows you to consistently, every single game, get exactly what you need, especially if you're running something like Starhand. Going to send a regen to play Klytus. Klytus has the ability to pop a card in play, but it can't pop. Yeah, so Max 10 has protected the Termination there, unfortunately. I wonder if Crimson will allow them to retarget. You can't pop the Termination. You can't pop Max 10 either. Okay, so he's going to select something different here. That is why Extreme Max 10 is actually played, funny enough. Extreme Max 10 is a very unusual card. For what it does is it reduces both players' health max to 10. And then it also prevents you from losing any constant cards while it's in play. Now you might be wondering, well, how come then Bob has 15 health points? Well, if you have a quick look at Widespread Termination, it has the clause that while it's in play, you have no limit to your health points. So it really comes down to which one is played first. If you play Max 10 first, it restricts your health point limit to 10. But then if you play Termination right after, it will extend it to be unlimited. However, if you play Termination first, making it unlimited, and then Max 10 to make it limited, you will be stuck at 10. So it really does come down to how and when you play these cards. We're going to see a Life Gambler Jackal here. So not quite out of the woods yet. We could still be looking at a Life Gambler deck instead of Elder FTK. But let's just see. We're going to go Klytus attacking Tim the Toad. The last monster on Tim's board, on Bob's board. Getting rid of it's actually not a bad idea here because you could just go into Dragodian. Yeah. So Dragodian is a really good card. It was recently released for Tim. You're about to see it probably on the next turn. Just because it's a fantastic card. It requires a Toxic type and a Dragon type, both of which Bob has. Yeah, this is a very interesting match. Of course, this is turn 2 out of 10. And they're going to just take the 1 damage. Okay, it's going to pass over to Bob, I would expect, at this stage. Unless something else is happening. Very nice judging there from Crimson. Of course, they did allow the Klytus to retarget. I probably necessarily wouldn't have. As I would think you've already targeted. But Crimson can be nice. So that's a nice thing there. Roll of 2. They will definitely be going to Dragodian. Because Dragodian can revive a Tim the Toad card from your Perish pile, and then boost everything you've got, all Tim the Toad cards, by 1,000, and give you 2 health points on top of that. As long as Bob doesn't forget about Crevice Dweller, I think he's got a very nice setup coming in right now. Yeah, just confirming now the widespread ruling with Extreme Max 10. I think Dragodian is the play here, but we could see something different. Bob really would have a lot of options. So let's see what happens. Coconut Hut, of course, is a really good card. It is actually basically a staple in the current meta. Fun story about where Tim the Toad and Coconut Hut actually came out of. Bob won the January rookie tournament, and instead of asking for the prize money, simply asked for a single card to honor his previously passed Tim the Toad pet. And I was very happy to give that to him, and I felt like it was a really fun idea. And we gave it a couple of things to keep it alive. And of course, after discussing more with him, I thought it'd be more fun if he also got to have the home he had when he was still around. And we made Coconut Hut. Now, Coconut Hut has gone from this Tim support card to an incredible staple of the game, a card that you will likely find in almost every single pro deck list. It has really taken the game by storm and steered us into a more constant-centered meta. And of course, Dragodian, well, that's just a fun card we ended up creating because we thought it would be pretty hilarious to give even more Tim support. We're just going to see what we've got here for Bob to do. Going to impose a card, so there's definitely, what would it be, Dragon Cupid maybe? Could be also a Ferrorex, but it is denied all the same. What Bob is going to really need to focus on now is getting Lucky's health down, potentially around that 6 to 5 range, so that if Lucky does sack the health to get rid of Coconut Hut, they can't immediately sack another 4 health to deal with a second Coconut Hut. Tim definitely is a viable option right now, especially with Coconut Hut. Crevice Dweller is coming back out. Crevice Dweller is actually going to have some decent stats on it now. It's going to be around about, I think it's doubled. What, is it doubled? No, it's going to be at 1300 right now. And it's corrosive, which is pretty nice. Okay, so we're going to go 1300. Now, of course, what's so scary about Crevice Dweller? Well, it's also corrosive, just like Tim, which means every time it wins a conflict, both players take damage. But what's even scarier is that when either player takes damage while it's in play, it doubles its power until the end of the game. We're going to sack 6 to just murk that Jackal, which will double Crevice Dweller to 2600. And corrosive. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. Already a very scary card. This is definitely giving us an interesting idea on where we're heading meta-wise, especially now with Vigilantes receiving the small nerfs that they did. Clytus, of course, is in play. How much is Clytus? 3,000. Oh, wow. Okay, so we're going to Coconut Hut the Crevice Dweller. It's a good play. Okay, we're going to gain the 2 health points, which is really good for this deck. It's corrosive. I think it's very difficult to build a Tim deck. It's really hard to build one that's consistently good. And people have been experimenting for a very long time with stuff like Rascals, with stuff like Wildfire Warrior. People have been working with Termination. I mean, that's really being seen here now. But there's been a lot of first drafts and first tries previously done that have really made it hard for Tim to be a reliable deck. But with the recent Dragodian support, that's become easier. Looking at this, we've got a Life Gamblers hitting field. So seems Lucky has decided to opt to their go-to classic Life Gambler strategies. Superior Ace is hitting the board. Superior Ace is a great card because it can revive any non-synergy Life Gambler from Perish Pile, which means it can revive Jackal. And Jackal can use its specialty to roll a 6-sided die to see if they want to swap something out, but it looks like they're going to avoid that and instead just go into conflict. 3,000 versus, 3,500 versus 3,000, Jackal has the upper hand. Let's see what Bob's response is. Bob, of course, is one of our most exciting players to watch, and always puts on a great match when we get to see him. I'm really glad we got to have this feature match. Lucky, of course, is another exciting player, but we're going to see if they've got any more tricks left, or if they're just going to stick with their gamblers. Bob is looking into second deck, which means, well, technically called the asset pile. Looking at the asset pile to potentially look for a Dragodian, but it's a bit of a defensive measure here. It's 5 Dragodian even loses here, but Bob's going to have to be really aware of the fact that they're going to need to make space on the next turn, and hopefully they don't overextend here. Dragodian is weak, but Bob has intentionally done this so that he can boost his stats more. Interesting. I did not expect the Savage Ushi. I thought he would leave Dragodian so that he could revive with the second Dragodian. But it looks like he's actually going to try and do some stuff with first. Roll. So that's going to grab a... I think it's Tim from Perished, isn't it? They need to make sure they don't forget Crevice Dweller though. Dweller will be at 3600 corrosive. Oh my gosh, this thing is nasty. This is so nasty. It is a horrible card to deal with. Now, of course, Lucky is in a position where they could get rid of Hut, but they haven't done so yet, which indicates they may not have as much experience with Hut, or they may not believe it is a very good card. Some people are in that camp that not everything is, not all these staples are what they are cracked up to be. I don't know, Medicine Angel Elizabeth is also... What the heck? We're going into Turmoil. So Turmoil is a card that can make a monster you command into a constant tactical. Yes, you heard that right. It converts a monster into a tactical. Are you confused yet? Good, because this is confusing me. We're going to make this Elizabeth into a tactical, and what it does is its specialty becomes the effect of the tactical. It just stays in play as a constant tactical. The advantage of this is, of course, that it doesn't get attacked. It just stays in the back row. Lucky can sack 4 to get rid of it though. But now they've only got 8 health. So they can only sack 4 for either Hut or Elizabeth. In this case, I think getting rid of Hut is the better play, and then maybe doing with Elizabeth a bit further down the line. Hut is just so dangerous right now. I'm going to go into Tim from the Perish pile. Tim's going to get an extra 1000 power and an extra 2 health points. Dragodian is in itself kind of like a Coconut Hut as a synergy, which really just pushes Tim to the next level. And we are dealing with a 3600 Crevice Dweller. Wait, is it 7200? Holy smokes! Oh, because they sacked health for Turmoil. Oh my gosh, 7200? Yes, so another thing about Crevice Dweller is it actually is the only card in MonTac that we have theoretically calculated could reach well over 1 million power very easily in-game. It probably has the ability to reach even higher than that because of the fact that it just doubles. So if you can imagine now, the next double will take it up to 14,000, the next double 28,000, the next double 56,000, the next double 11,200. It is just going to get very crazy very fast, and we're going to gain some health, putting it back into the asset pile. Another great thing is that, you know, that Crevice Dweller doesn't have to worry about like Operator, doesn't have to being popped, because it keeps getting sent back into the asset pile. So Lucky's going to have to be very quick if they want to deal with that Crevice Dweller early. The Kalidas play at the start would have been really good, but Bob is experienced and understands that pros are looking to eliminate those constant cards, so Extreme Max 10 has been an absolute huge help. The question is though, has Lucky got a rebuttal? Looks like we're going to cool down, giving Bob another 3 health points, pushing him up to 15. I believe the current record for health points is around about that 25 area. Of course, the max health points are generally 15 as per the rules. However, with Termination, it gives you unlimited health point gain. So this could get pretty big. Let's see what happens. Lucky's got the turn. They can't really do much in terms of revival, which would really suck for gamblers. I'm going to go Life Gambler's Roulette. Life Gambler's Roulette is a card that selects a non-synergy life gambler monster you command and non-synergy monster your enemy commands. You can roll. The small, yeah, it can only select non-synergies, I believe. So it's going to roll. So let's see if... Yeah, so Jacko's going to get the power of Tim. Let's see if Bob wants to sack the 2 health to keep Tim in play. Now the thing is, it's really not a big deal to lose Tim anymore because you can revive it with Dragodian. But back in the day when Dragodian was not around, Tim was very hard to play. Even losing Dragodian here is not a big deal because you can revive with another Dragodian. It's a lot of Dragodians, I'm going to be honest. So that, okay. Attacking for 2. Gaining 2, gaining 3 from Elizabeth in cooldown. That is phenomenal. That has completely nullified that turn. But of course, once we reach 10 turns, or after 10 turns, we will reach sudden death where a single wounding, a single direct attack will be lethal. So they are going to have to get their strategies ready and be on their best moveset heading into this sudden death coming up very soon. Roll of 6 is very good, but Tim is a pretty low class deck. Okay. So roll of 6. Playing Crevice Dweller. Dweller will reach even higher now. It is at 8200 corrosive. We're going to widespread again, board wiping Lucky's entire field, which will double Dweller up to, you guessed it, 16,400. Holy smokes. We could be looking at a brand new record. Currently the record for highest power in game, in an actual game, not theoretical, as in like actually has happened, is around about 400,000. So let's see if we can get a bit higher than that. Dragodian hits field. Really good, because Dragodian can revive a Dragodian. And that Dragodian can revive Tim. And with that, you've got boost after boost after boost. And well, with Coconut Heart, of course. And they're gaining health from Termination. They still have more than enough to use another Termination on their next turn if they want to. This deck is just very nice. I'm very impressed with Bob's deck. I think they've definitely made Dragodian a playable strategy currently. Little Tim is back. Okay, they're just catching the health point gain from Dragodian. That's going to give them 4 health, plus the 2 health they got from Coconut Heart, and a regenerator! Oh dear, they are laying it on thick with these constants. I am not going to lie, the roll is a 6, so plenty of stuff for Bob to use right now. And they are not hesitating. They've got really not much left in deck. So if Lucky can out this, they've probably got a good way to get around. If I'm in Lucky in this situation, you got to kind of deconstruct things health-wise, I would say. Keep the health up, sack some for Coconut Heart, sack some for Elizabeth, just shut those avenues off. Try to get rid of Termination somehow. It's going to be very, very hard. I don't know if Lucky can recover at this stage, I'm going to be honest. But if anyone can, then the former pro champ definitely has a shot. Let's see what they bring to us. We've got a roll of 5. So we're going to go into second deck. Let's see, asset pile. Oh, that's a good play. That's a very good play. Holy smokes, that's a nice play. That is a very nice play. So why is Oskip great in this situation? What Oskip does is it board wipes your enemy, and then stops your enemy from gaining health points while they command Oskip. So that is a very nice play. It will definitely stall Bob a little bit, and it will be very good at minimizing Dragodian. If they lose Dragodian here, I don't know if they have a way to revive it, and if they lose Dragodian here, that might shut off their entire strategy. They will have the board wipes and a Crevice Dweller, but Crevice Dweller can be very easily outed through Operator, and Tim isn't big enough. So they will lose the Dragodians, but Tim will remain by sacking 2 health points. But there's no more health gain for Bob while Oskip is in play. Very nice play from Lucky here, but now we have to be in a bit of an interesting situation because obviously Lucky is not quite running just gamblers now, is he? See, what's so suspicious about this deck currently is that every asset monster he has played thus far is an Elder. Now, why does this matter? Well, there is an Apex that requires 4 Elders. It's an incredibly strong card, and it really has to be because Elders are themselves a bit more weaker than Synergies. So it's an Apex Synergy monster that requires 4 Elders and Perish to play it. It has 1000 power, which wouldn't seem like a lot until you read what it does. But I'll wait to see if that actually comes out. So let's see, going to Sport of Ace again, restarting the cycle. Of course, Bob cannot gain any more health. Going into Superior Ace. Do they still gain health from this ability? I don't think they do, yeah, we removed that. Okay, Sport of Ace. So what are we going to grab? Non-asset life gamble monster. Spectre 10 is an interesting play. That's true. Add 2 life gambler cards from the deck to their hand, which is very nice. A lot of combos here, and Bob is definitely in some trouble. They're going to have to get rid of that Oskip and somehow get Dragodian back. I don't know if they have a way to do so. I would think Overdrive. It's currently what I actually run in my Tim decks. Oh my gosh, we've got a Star Hand. Great play. So this allows Lucky to get all those cards to their hand, but unlike Bob, they don't actually have to give the enemy health at all because the enemy commands Oskip. It is just a phenomenal play. This is going to take them to a whole nother level in this matchup. It is not over yet. Another Star Hand. Oh my gosh, the value off of this play is huge. Funny enough, Star Hand's actually a card Lucky hated when they first joined the game. They actually joined the game around about January 2022. And after a couple of months of failing to try different stuff in the meta, they found the right cards and ended up winning their very first tournament when they entered the Pro Tournament in March 2022. And they won that against Zweistein, who was actually entering their 3rd Grand Final and was actually favoured to win. So it was a very good match for Lucky, and now they're looking to try and retain some of that glory. Now, in response to the attack on Tim, Bob has sacked the 2, but of course, as you will be noticing, Bob is not gaining any health from that Elizabeth, and that is because Oskip is in play. Looking to play something. Let's see what Bob is going to go for. Oskip would be really good to get rid of here, but the advantage of having Oskip is Bob can still just attack with it. Roll of 5. Okay, Crevice Dweller is back. 17,400. If it should get doubled again, we're looking at a 34,800 stat line right there. Goodness me, this is getting very scary. This is a very tentative spot here for Bob. They need to get rid of that Oskip and they can get back to their winning ways, but They've lost both Dragonians, which is definitely brutal. And the problem is this. Do they have a card that can deal with that last Apex that Lucky has? And furthermore, do they know that that Apex is coming? If they do, I think they'll be okay. If they don't, this could be a huge problem. We're going to roll, and that'll end the turn in Lucky's favor. Oskip still on board, still incredibly annoying for Bob here. Just confirming now if a message has been sent and received. The judge is just checking the ruling right now. Okay, let's see what we've got here. 17,400 crevice dweller, and it's been left in play. Keep that in mind, it has been left in play, which means it can be attacked, it can be targeted, and that's a big deal. There for a secondary superior ace. That's from Perish Pile. Played from the first superior ace. Register Jackal. Roll a die. 5 a high. Just that will trigger. So they're going to swap the Tinder Toad and a Crevice Dweller. Oh no, that is a big play right there. They can sack the 2 health to keep Tim alive, but they're not going to. Wow. Wow, that is a huge play right there. That will take out Tiberius. Going after Star Thruster. And Oskip remains on the board. Very annoying. Now the thing is, for Lucky, they actually do need that Oskip to die, because without it they will not get their Apex online. At least I think they're running the Apex. I would imagine this, like you're, what, 3 Elders deep. I think you'd have to be at this stage. Elders are not quite this good, or at least the ones being used aren't that good to where you could run them instead of Sinjis, as they just don't have the defensive properties that they need, that you need really. Got a roll of 3. Oskip is on board. And we are now in sudden death. Any wounding is lethal. Okay, we're going to drop that. Here it comes. Rapture Dragon. Invictus is the savior Bob needed. That will kill his own Ossakip. And before it killed his own Ossakip, since it killed his Ossakip, it will give him the health points he needs. It gives him 4 health. Yeah, so just confirming it's going to kill Oskip first and then the gaining of health. So Bob will gain the 4 health, just confirming there. It's a tricky ruling, but definitely no sweat off Crimson's brow there. Very well played thus far from both players. Neither one is giving an inch. Neither one wants to lose this at all after the trash talk they've been giving each other. Of course, Lucky had to go back to rookies for a quick stint, and that is where they met Bob, who also got sent back to the rookies. So they've been drawing at each other ever since. And yeah, I mean, they both are very accomplished players in their own rights. And now With Invictus in play, that means termination is so much easier. They can gain health points, but they have lost both Dragodians. And I believe they've potentially even lost both their Tims, but let's have a quick look and see if that is correct. I know there is one Tim. Are they both Tims? Only one? Is it one Tim? One Tim looks to be there. Okay. With one Tim around, then that means there is still one Tim left. That's great. That's actually really good if they can use that in the late game against that Apex. The question is, do they know about it? Aethel Red is going to hit field, allows him to sacrifice 5 health to give 5 additional attacks and 5,000 power, looking at a total of 8,300 with 6 attacks on that Aethel Red, threatening lethal. This is a very, very scary board right now. We are looking at 8 attacks in total. Lucky cannot afford to take a single attack since it is sudden death. Overkill you may say, but I'm going to be honest, depending on what Lucky's got left over, this could be very much needed. I'm going to use Plasma Hand Cannon, which is going to send a Jack. What does that do? I have no idea. The roll is what? The roll is 3, which means Angel Feather, which is now apparently a meta card, crazy enough, or Marine Guard is also an option. Class Bond. What the heck? This is very unorthodox. Oh my gosh, it's double crime, partners. Call the police. This is gonna get nuts. We've got some people on the run, and we've got, how many types are in there? We've got Savage, Dragon, Otherworld, Fighter, Mecha, Elder, 6. Yeah, I think it's about right. 6,000 power. It gains 1,000 for each different type in your Perish Pass. So there are currently 6. We've got 2 6,000 beasts on board, and scarier than that, if they should get board wiped, they can revive themselves immediately. These are going to be very hard to deal with, especially if Lucky can get them bigger than Aethel Red. Hammer down! Wow. That's an interesting play from Bob. You'd think they would try to go with Aethel Red, but they've kind of avoided that. They're playing very safe. Gonna go Aethel Red now. Lucky Queen is replayed. Ooh, Lucky Queen is a great play. Let's see what the response is. Life Gale Protection. And Fire and Smoke comes back. Wow. That deals with Aethel Red, and we remain at the top of the mountain at 6,000. Wow, that is huge. Of course, Termination is around, but why does it matter when Termination can't even board wipe Fire and Smoke, because it will just revive itself? This is a stunning play from Lucky. Stunning play indeed. Let's see, is there anything Bob can do to deal with these guys? Because if not, this could be it. Let's see what happens next. We're going to go into a cooldown stage. Gaining 3 health points. The board wipes are great, but against crime partners they will do nothing. So, also if you are in Lucky's position, you need to get your last Elder out to get that Apex online. Let's see if he does that. He's only got 1 card left in deck though. Does he have the ability to get it out is the question. Also, Rapture Dragon should be gone. Yep, it's just been removed. Bob is in a tough position right now. They've only got, I think they're Tacticalism left. So, I don't know how they survive this turn, I'm going to be honest. It's a roll of 1. I don't know how Bob survives this turn, I'm going to be honest. Oh dear. Oh dear. Flower of the Ancients. A boss monster for Elder cards. This requires 2 Elder monsters to have perished. It is no timer. It can specially move cards and get itself additional attacks. Oh my gosh, this thing is nasty. for each permanent perished. So how many does Bob have? They've got, I think, 1 Elder, and Lucky has 3. So it's going to gain 4 additional attacks onto that Flower of the Ancients, which means we're looking at, I think, 5 attacks. Yeah, so 5 total. Just confirming now. Just confirming now. I think Flower has 4 additional attacks, so it should be at 5 attacks in total. At 4,500, it's a roll of 1. Bob is in a huge amount of problems right now. Okay, there we go. So we've got the life gains protection, which can't be used because the roll is only 1. Flower is timer removed. Looking for lethal. Is this it? And that is game. Lucky locks it down. GG. Well played, Lucky. Tough game indeed. Thank you everyone for watching. This has been a great matchup. Unfortunately, we didn't get to the boss mods from Lucky, but great to see that new strategy from the former champion. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. This has been Tom.